You probably feel it too, that we are in the midst of transitioning into a completely new era. And I tell you, now begins, or perhaps has already begun, a really intense cycle that we should be prepared for. I want to talk to you about this today because the energetic influences have completely reformatted. And with that, we find ourselves in the midst of a unique yet cosmic transformation that challenges us deeper and more intensely than we have ever experienced before. Hello, my name is Linda Giese. I have been a spiritual mentor for over 20 years. I am the author of the book Consciousness Next Level and the founder of the Being Potential method. Being potentials are truly your potentials that help you, especially now, to get through this really challenging time. And above all, they help you to unlock your full potential. If you feel like you're sabotaging yourself or bouncing back and forth like a ping pong ball between life's demands, then grab your biggest challenge and join our next free live show. With a bit of luck, we can both work on your challenge together and show you activating your being potentials. Really excited to seeing you. Find the link for this podcast episode Yusan below. So the newly emerging quality of time we're talking about has just recently begun, and this quality of time surrounds us with an energy that is incredibly powerful. Yes, really very strong. And you surely feel the changes already, undoubtedly. And certainly, it is a time of letting go, total transformation, and breakthroughs. Yes, there is a lot of positivity in this time, but also the challenge of letting go and renewal. There's really a lot in it. And this time, which we are talking about, will now radically renew us and elevate us to a whole new level of consciousness. We are in an era where inequality and injustice in the world are increasingly coming into our focus. The field of vision of people, lies, manipulations, corruption. All of this will become more apparent, and the focus is thereby completely realigned for us, meaning our focus is completely redirected, because the trust in the previous structures, in the previous order, has been deeply shaken and will continue to be shaken. And so much will be exposed now. This will really have an impact on us. And thus our focus is redirected. We will increasingly strive to become more independent. We will favor freedom and self-determination as well as renewal, our own renewal, but also the renewal of the existing, let's call it Kakyo, order, because the existing structures, whether they are forms of government, hierarchies, bureaucracies, or whatever, are now being ruthlessly scrutinized, which will be particularly uncomfortable for the power-holding structures. They will certainly not want to put up with this, but no matter what they try now, it will no longer work. And this is really very important information, because we will have to make way for a new just order. When I say we, yes, we too will have to get used to a new order. And the ruling structures or the established structures that are simply no longer sustainable, 2001 for justice, for peace, for harmony, for a good coexistence, they simply have to give way to this energy and this development now. I am really very, very curious to see how this will manifest concretely, because it also affects those who are not known to us or to most of us at all. So those who pull the strings in the background. And this is how you can recognize how spectacular this energy is that I'm talking about, and also this development, because up until now, certain positions were untouchable simply due to a lot of power and money. And now it is being said that this is changing, that it no longer works. Why do I believe that? Because the time that has now begun comes with an especially powerful, profound, and unavoidable current. And yes, this challenges us personally, but also collectively, to leave the familiar behind. That's what it's all about. What we used to consider normal, what we felt or accepted as normal, indeed no longer works. The new time, the new era will no longer function with what has been normal until now. And that is the reason why there will be a significant, dramatic upheaval on all levels, in various aspects. Yes, okay. The energies that are now affecting us are practically pushing us into an awakening and a radiant power, but also self-empowerment. Yes, and with that, an enormous energetic portal is now truly opening up, more and more, piece by piece. And energetic light information will flood us until the end of this year. This is super, super exciting. This time until the end of this year will be characterized by a dynamic of growth on all levels. We can really look at this on all levels. So it is certainly not unusual if the wind of change is sweeping through the previously familiar and functional structures in your life, because it is about growth and renewal on all levels. We notice it here too. Yes, it's really exciting that every day brings something where we have to say, wow, okay. Challenge accepted, it's all about change. Pay attention not only to the external things happening around you, but also to your own personal development, because I am sure you will not recognize yourself. At the start of the new year, 2025, I am really, really sure about that, because now this final sprint of the year truly focuses on addressing the issues that we might have been able to ignore or avoid until now. Thus, you will no longer recognize yourself. It does something to you. It makes you stronger, it makes you more truthful, it makes you more awake. The information that is condensing and wants to be embodied, meaning lived by us, wants to become 2001, is so magical, and will, I would say, elevate us to a completely new consciousness, next level, by the end of 26, beginning of 27. End of the 26th, as I already mentioned in my last podcast episode, is such a very magical date. Let's put it this way. Let's extend it to the beginning of the 27th. So in this time, something big, really big, is happening with our consciousness next level. And we are setting the first major milestone right here in the year-end sprint. Exciting, isn't it? This time, it's really about a gigantic quantum leap. Are you ready for it, or does it scare you? I would really be interested in your comments. Go ahead and comment. Yes, look, there it was, the early morning slip of the tongue. So, indeed, it can become super challenging at some points. And letting go of what already exists can always be tough. And we will certainly need a lot of courage and self-confidence here and there to embrace the opportunities for unusual growth that present themselves to us. I don't know about you, but on some days I can really feel into these tensions quite well. I feel these energetic tensions, I can perceive them, even though I have no idea what is coming or what it is all about. I can clearly sense the impending change or the bad news in advance. Why is that? If it is the same for you, it's quite simple. It's like a huge imago process in which we are all intertwined. A gigantic collective awakening and evolution imago process. Yes, feel free to Google it if you don't know what an imago process is. Just a small note, a butterfly caterpillar dissolves first, yes, before it becomes a butterfly. It's an incredibly fascinating story how this process takes place. Yes, and this is the imago process we are in, just like the caterpillar. It is the same for us now. The old is falling apart, dissolving, while new fields of consciousness are already developing within us, emerging, and embodying the new consciousness in our interactions. Just as the caterpillar dissolves, the imaginal cells begin to form. And initially, the caterpillar's immune system fights these new imaginal cells and such great rejection that doesn't belong to us. That's an enemy that will eventually become obvious. Ah, okay, even these new imago cells are a part of us. And then the caterpillar's immune system stops attacking the imaginal cells. And then the first butterfly cells can emerge. So while something is dissolving, something is in the process of dying, the new is already emerging. And that is exactly what is happening with us right now. This new energy wants to be embodied, wants to become denser, while the old is still in the process of dying. And the more we accept this, or conversely, the less we are in inner resistance to these changes, the easier it will be for us. Because one way or another, we are required to adapt to the new way of life. Here, the imago process is beautifully applicable again. It is a new way of life. We will grow wings. Maybe we will stay that way. We are transforming from a caterpillar to a butterfly. Ultimately, it is really good news, but I believe that right in the middle of this process, it sometimes feels quite different. And very often, I have days when I look forward to and am excited about this renewal. And on some days, I first need to breathe into them and calm myself down, reflecting and bringing myself back to peace, just like yesterday. Yesterday was also such a process. I got into my pool for 20 minutes and swam back and forth for 20 minutes, just these 8.5 meters. And with every stroke, I repeated a mantra to myself. So I spent 20 minutes with 2 sentences. Life doesn't make mistakes. 2001, the next swim stroke. Life is always for me. I alternate between these 2 sentences, 20 minutes of each swimming stroke, repeatedly. Life makes no mistakes. Life is always for me. And after these 20 minutes, I could feel that it had established itself so deeply in my cells that I could even recognize what the challenge which was currently posed to me and was troubling me so much would be good for. It was super exciting to realize that this time it was probably already apparent in advance what this process I'm going through is good for. And that's really exciting. Normally, you always recognize it in hindsight. 2001. Okay, so maybe these 2 sentences will help you when things get tough. One thing is certain, and I mean it is certain. This year is going to be very fast-paced. We will be refined and may also feel some pressure. But you know, diamonds are made under pressure. Maybe, just like me, you want to trust that this time offers you exactly the growth opportunities you need to unlock your full potential. And once again, if you want to know how to activate your being potentials, then we'll see you in our upcoming Being Potential live show. I am really looking forward to seeing you and wish you a truly good, calm, gentle time. With trust and a lot of strength in 2001. If you like, maybe we can even connect on Instagram. Either way, with love, the very, very best for you, your sister in spirit, your Linda,